And indeed, it was a fun game. Skyline was pretty much in control of that game until later into that second half, and then the Bulldogs kind of woke up from the mat, so to speak, took the lead. Skyline was able to convert shots late in the game, was able to pull it out.
And Skyline wins the opening tip. They'll be moving right to left across your screen here in the first half as we're underway from San Bruno. Walter Lum works it back out for Vasquez.
And I tell you what, Ben, the matchup between Lum and Vasquez was outstanding the first time out.
There's a jump shot from Lum, and just like that, it's 2-0.
And that's what they do well. We're speaking of the Trojans. They manage the basketball. They don't force shots up. They get the open shot. Nice job by Lum rising up for the shot.
Trying to answer San Mateo. Offensive rebound. Missed layup the second time it'll go, and it's finally put home by Desai Lopez, his first bucket.
Yeah, Lopez is very athletic as well. Gets off the ground extremely quick.
So 2-2 early on here. Skyline working the ball around the perimeter, 10 on the shot clock as Vasquez will drive and kick. Jump shot in and out from Noah Hainsworth.
And if Hainsworth can add that to his game, give him a different tool in the toolbox, so to speak. But this should be an interesting matchup, as you mentioned. You see here, nice drive inside. Ball out of bounds. Skyline will take over.
Well, talking about Hainsworth, he averages 8 rebounds per game along with his 9 points. He's second in the conference with those 8 rebounds. Also tied for first, averaging 1.4 blocks per game. So Hainsworth really has done a good job this season asserting himself inside both ends of the floor.
Look for Vasquez. I mean, Vasquez last time out, 23 points.
And Lum will knock down the 3. And you mentioned at the top of the broadcast, Joaquin, that Lum is a guy you like. He's showing it early with 5 quick points.
Yeah, I believe Lum has an opportunity to play at the next level. He is a freshman, but he does do things well for his team. He finds his teammates. He can run an offense.
Spinning hook shot comes up short, rebounded by Lum. And here comes Skyline again.
For one thing Lum will not do, he will not force shots. He's going to find the open man. And their philosophy, speaking of Skyline, is get the ball to the person who's the most open. And that's what they do. They do not force shots. They understand their DNA, so to speak. They execute it exactly well.
Turnover as Flowers dribbled it off his foot. Well, Vasquez comes in tonight averaging 14.8 points per game. That's 10th in the Coast Conference North. As a wild shot comes to an offensive rebound for Bryant Jefferson. And we'll have a whistle and a foul called against Skyline. Should be free throws here for Lopez.
We talked about interior passing the last game. That was a nice job, interior passing between the two bigs. But Lum now has his first foul. Last time out, he had 4 fouls. He played with 4 fouls, 10 minutes remaining in the second half. If I am the Bulldogs, I'm trying to get Lum in foul trouble early to get him off the floor.
First free throw from Lopez. Nothing but net.
You can see the nice pass down low. Lopez actually was not prepared for that. Kind of like, oops, here it is. He has an opportunity for a second. 2 free throws.
Good recovery. Shooting 73% at the free throw line as he knocks home a pair. 4 quick points for him. And it's a 1-point lead for Skyline.
So already what we've seen in the difference between the first game is that the Bulldogs are not pressing. Their philosophy, their mission has always been trying to turn you over, run and jump defense, but they learned from the first time they'll play more half court for Skyline trying to beat them in a half court game.
Yeah, that was something that Coach Marcio was telling us on our phone conversation with him this week. They might back out of the pressure defense that they like to do so much, and that's going to be a foul called on the floor. But, you know, credit to Skyline last game. They were really able to handle that press, and that's something that San Mateo has relied on this year is forcing turnovers. They weren't really able to do it last time out, and that's a big reason why Skyline was able to win.
Yeah, they did a great job, but Skyline was able to throw over the top a lot of those traps. It was able to use a diagonal pass, which is devastating to it, like a 1-2-1-1 zone trap defense in the half court. So nice job by doing that.
Right down the lane goes Arenas. Offensive rebound, Jefferson, and he'll finish. Nicely done by the 6'4" freshman out of Palo Alto.
Now, Coach Marcial, the first time out, said a key component was trying to get Jefferson involved early. They felt that his size down low would give Skyline problems, so look for him to get active early.
First lead of the night for the Bulldogs at 6-5. Three-pointer short from Haynesworth. And San Mateo wants to push. Lopez kicks it to the other side. Little runner is off the rim. Nice pass from Benjamin. Jefferson gets tied up, but he will draw a foul. So a few early fouls here against Skyline. That's already their 13th foul. Just under 4 minutes into the half.
And what will help them with that, they will get to the free throw line, and they can win the game from there as well. Try to create opportunities to score.
Jefferson out top. Nice cut from Arenas. Able to gain a handle and another foul. This will be a shooting foul. And so 4 quick fouls going against Skyline. That one will result in 2 free throws.
And that's the second foul on Haynesworth. So look for him to be down to at least the 10-minute mark of this quarter anyway.
Yeah, that could certainly be problematic, as it's Arenas going to the line for 2. He's an 80% free throw shooter this year. And looks the part on the first one.
As you can see, the Bulldogs are coming out much more aggressive than the Trojans so far. And you can tell, as you mentioned, by the fouls.
Yep, if you attack, you'll often be rewarded with the whistle. As 2 for 2 for Bobby Arenas. And 6 straight points for the Bulldogs as they lead it by 3.
Now, Peterson's about to check in the game, and he's a redshirt sophomore from Fremont High School. Last game out, he came with a lot of energy. Played more in the second half, had 4 points, a lot of energy, playing around the rim, rebounds the basketball. So look for his activity and his energy as well.
Three-pointer from the baseline is knocked home by Colin Spurlock, freshman out of Burlingame. And we're tied again.
Nice out-of-bounds play for the 3-ball. Spurlock, the lefty, lined it up.
There's a deep 3. How about that range from Jackie Luong?
And that doesn't surprise me. He's made 75 coming into the game.
Three-pointer trying to answer, but unable to do so is Justin Robles. And a quick 3 from Arenas. Rims in and out. A foul on the floor going for the rebound, and I think it'll be against Skyline.
And we mentioned at the top of the telecast that both Arenas and Luong, if they play big, as opposed to the last game, that will give them an opportunity to win. You see here, nice dribble down here. Skip out. Luong say, hey, I got that from distance.
Yeah, Luong and Arenas are tied for 6th in the conference, averaging 15.8 points per game. Offensive rebound, Jefferson spins away from the defense and lays it in.
You're seeing already that the Bulldogs are using their athleticism in the front court, coupled with their ability to knock down threes.
Well, that's something they definitely want to do. They feel like they've got an advantage in the post. That time it's Skyline using the inside game, and Jacob Schaab draws the foul.
And that was a nice recognition by Skyline to understand that they are in a 2-3 pack zone. Short corner, we've seen that the last game. You go short corner, provides opportunities to drive to the rim.
So Schaab will head to the free throw line for the Trojans. Makes the first. Schaab, an excellent free throw shooter. 88% coming into tonight. As a team, Skyline shoots 70%. And the friendly roll cuts the lead to 3.
so far, interesting start to the game. And you could tell, again, the adjustments was made by Coach Marcial, understanding that you can't press these guys. They're pretty skilled. Nice look.
Yeah, that's Denzel McCollum with the pass to David Peterson. And the lead back to 5 for San Mateo. Quick answer from Skyline. Colin Spurlock with his second 3-ball of the night.
Spurlock is lining them up. Say, you didn't read about me on the scouting report? Too bad for you. I'll knock these down on you.
And now a steal by Lum. Lum looking to push. Right to the rim. No good, but the follow is put home. And Pajri Samhi ties the game at 15. Answer from Denzel McCollum.
You know, we had a chance to watch McCollum in high school, played at Sarah High School. Very athletic, plays well around the rim. Kind of like a jumping jack.
A good pace to this one so far. As up and down we go, already 17-15. And we're just about 6 minutes and 15 seconds into this one.
And the pace favors the Bulldogs because that's how they want to play. The difference is they're not turning it over. They're playing solid half-court defense.
Yeah, talking to Coach Marcial, last game the pace was pretty slow, and I think that's what Skyline would like. As a great look from Lum. Extra pass for the three-pointer, off the mark. Here comes Arenas.
Nice inside-out basketball. Find the open man, if not able to knock it down.
Arenas right through the defense. And Bobby Arenas with 4 quick points. That's going to lead to a Skyline timeout. 19-15. Bulldogs on top.
And that was what they call Olay defense by the Trojans as Arenas went in untouched.
Well, tonight's game is being brought to you by Jim Breen State Farm Insurance, serving all your insurance needs for auto, home, and life. Get the best value for your insurance dollar. Contact Jim, a proud supporter of CSM Athletics. Well, you were talking about that Olay defense. This time, that was better defense as Lum got the job done.
Yeah, Lum was able to get on transition, but nice job, but a stick back by Sammy, the freshman out of Ontario, Canada. All the way from Ontario.
Little Canadian flavor in the gym tonight. 4-point lead for the Bulldogs. Just under 7 minutes in here from San Bruno. Second meeting of the season between these two schools. As we told you, Skyline won a tightly contested affair last time out, 70-67. 7 on the shot clock. Good defense from McCollum. They work it out to Lum, mid-range jumper, in and out. And an offensive rebound, chased down by Shab.
Those are backbreakers on defense. You play great 30 seconds defense, and you're not able to corral a loose rebound. Now the Trojans have an opportunity to run some clock and to get back in their offense. I think like a horn series.
Here's Vasquez driving the lane, kicks to Lum, lets the defender fly by, but can't stick the three. And now Daniel Benjamin working it over to Lopez. It's a good shooting San Mateo team. That ball tipped away from Arenas. He was looking for a foul, but Skyline going the other way.
And you know, that play was made by Vasquez. Great defense on the perimeter. Forced McCollum to a bad pass, able to get the turnover.
Friendly roll for Elijah Flowers. That's his first bucket of the night. We talked about him at the top of the broadcast. Missed last game due to illness. And he's a big part of this Skyline team as the Trojans force a traveling turnover against San Mateo.
Yeah, Flowers averaging just a shade under 10 points a game. Definitely missed his points last time out.
Good movement from Skyline, but the three won't go, and a nice rebound by Benjamin. Benjamin with an excellent feed to Lopez.
And that's what you want to do. Anytime you want to get out and run in those circumstances, make it happen. Benjamin does push the ball in transition, allows the Bulldogs to get out and run and score early.
3 ball on the way. Won't go down for David Avak. And here's Luong. Benjamin assessing the defense. Another great pass inside for Jefferson.
And what Benjamin does, Ben, he plays with his chin up. So he's able to see players' movement, see the open man, and he's able to deliver on time.
That ball was deflected out of bounds. It'll stay on this end. Yeah, a couple of nice assists for Daniel Benjamin, the redshirt freshman out of Jefferson High School.
Yeah, he's definitely making his impact felt on the floor because he's getting his guys involved. He's able to break the defense down. All eyes on me. Players are open. He's able to find them.
And a turnover for Skyline. Well, one of the things I thought was interesting that Coach Marcio was saying to us was that, you know, as good of shooters as Arenas and Luong are, they're not necessarily able to break down the defense and get to the rim. You see a guy like Benjamin who's shown the ability to do that, especially in transition.
Yeah, definitely in transition. If he can get into the painted area, that allows the defense to suck down. Now they have to go out and identify him, what opens up the shooters for both Luong and Arenas.
And that foul will be whistled on Avak. 6th team foul already for Skyline. So from this point on, it'll be bonus situation for San Mateo.
They've been the most aggressive team so far in the first half, and that's why you mentioned the fact they're going to be shooting free throws for the remaining 10 minutes of this game, so first half anyway. So nice job by the aggressive nature for the Bulldogs.
Both of these teams shoot 70% from the line. It is fascinating when you look at the stats. These two teams might not play the same way, but the stats are very similar. 3-pointer from Luong, and I think that maybe hit the wire above the basket, so that'll be ruled out of bounds.
And you have to play the Bulldogs man-to-man because a zone defense, they will shoot over the top of that with both Arenas and Luong. Now you can see they're going to a 2-2-1 zone trap, more like a pester press, try to take some time off the clock. They may drop back into a zone over half court.
And that's exactly what they did. Nicely done. But it will be interesting to see if they employ that press just a little bit, maybe mix it up. I think that's the key. You know, last time it didn't necessarily work, but you mix up your looks and that can be effective.
Well, it's more of a containment press. We're saying, guys, hey, listen, we're not saying take the basketball. We just want to take some time off the clock. Nice job by Skyline to find a hole in that 2-3 zone defense for the short jump hook over the right shoulder.
Second bucket of the night for Jacob Schab, cuts the lead to 4. So now San Mateo. They're certainly off to a much better offensive start this time around, as the floater won't fall for McCarrick.
And oftentimes, Ben, a shot created has to be a shot taken. And McCarrick had a shot, he turned it down, went to a more difficult shot, in my opinion, because he had to walk up 3. So when the shot is open, it's designed for you to take that shot.
San Mateo going 2-3 zone. Down to 5 on the shot clock for Avak. He'll feed it to Hainsworth, and Hainsworth couldn't get it to go.
Nice defensive end on Hainsworth. Remember, he has 2 fouls, so he has to be patient. Can't be too aggressive.
McCarrick gets it to Sarvan, and we're going to have a whistle and another foul, and this will be 1-1 coming up for San Mateo.
And what you see as well, too, Ben, is the fact that the first time these two teams played, the Bulldogs employed a dribble drive offense. This time they're using a little dribble drive, but they're going to a Princeton series as well, spraying the floor, bringing your post player at the top above the free throw line to open up backdoor lanes and ball screens in the middle of the floor.
So Luong goes to the line for 1-1, hits the first. He's an 86% free throw shooter. You look at the guards on this San Mateo team, they can really make their free throws. You've got Luong at 86%, Arenas shoots at 80%, and of course the announcer Jinx strikes right there as he misses the second. But for the most part, it's a good situation for them to already be in the bonus.
I do believe in the Jinx. Some people don't, but I do believe in it.
It's real. I just proved it. And my apologies to Mr. Luong and San Mateo. Here's Arenas with the rebound. Long pass saved by Jefferson. Arenas tries to corral it, but it's taken away by Shab. And we'll have a whistle. This foul going against San Mateo.
But San Mateo is fine on fouls. That's only their second team foul. So they're good in fouls. They can be even more aggressive in the remaining 7 minutes of this first half.
24-19, San Mateo on top with 7:56 to play. Ben Ross and Joaquin Wallace with you tonight on the Bay Area Online Sports Network. We saw the Skyline women get a 23-point win earlier tonight over San Mateo as Hainsworth finally gets on the scoreboard and cuts the lead to 3.
It's a nice job by Hainsworth. Jump hook over his left shoulder.
Good answer, three-pointer by McCarry.
And we talked about McCarry. He's not really known for his scoring, but any scoring you get from him just bodes well for the Bulldog offense.
And he extends the lead to 6 for the visiting Bulldogs of San Mateo. Hainsworth couldn't get the shot to fall, but he does earn a trip to the free throw line.
Similar move as before, left to right, crab dribble inside the painted area, left-handed over the left shoulder, right-handed jump hook.
Hainsworth, a sophomore out of Mill Valley. The lefty will head to the free throw line for 2. That one is in and out for the 61%er. So Hainsworth averaging 9 points and 8 rebounds, along with about 1.5 blocks this year. And he gets the roll for 1 out of 2.
Yeah, Hainsworth, we mentioned the fact that his athleticism allows him to create mismatches on the floor. But one thing that you have to look at when Hainsworth's in the game, he came in with 81 free throw attempts. Now he has 83. So that shows that he plays in the painted area a lot. Most of his scoring comes within 5 feet of the basket.
San Mateo with the ball and a 5-point lead. Arenas backing down the defense. Aggressive rebounds. And he's going to earn a trip to the free throw line with another 1-and-1.
And that's Lum's second foul, but that's something that they can take advantage of because Arenas has a size advantage against Lum. Posting him up, get him in foul trouble. I'm sure now he'll be checked down to the end of this half because they're going to need his 3 fouls starting in the second half.
Well, we talked to Justin Pegrosi, head coach of Skyline, and he kind of admitted that they do lack size a bit, and perhaps that's an area we can see San Mateo exploit a little bit as Arenas knocks home the first.
And I tell you what, the first time they played one another, Lum had 4 fouls, came in at the 10-minute mark, and I felt that Marcial and his staff did not attack Lum enough times. Remember, he mentioned the fact that he didn't want to get his team out of character, but that's an advantage you have to take advantage of from a coaching perspective.
Biggest lead of the night for San Mateo is right now 29-22. Just under 7 minutes to go in the first half. Avak runs into trouble, another turnover, and here comes San Mateo. And throwing it down is Denzel McCollum off a nice feed from Arenas.
And we talked about the fact that McCollum is a high flyer, live ball turnover. Arenas did a great job of finding his teammate, sharing the wealth for the dunk.
More good defense, but a foul called against San Mateo. And Coach Pegrosi was asking for that foul. They finally got it as you take another look at McCollum elevating.
In live ball turnovers, you can't guard against those, especially with guys that play over the rim. McCollum was able to finish.
Another empty trip for Skyline, and in transition, San Mateo, this time a turnover just out of the reach of McCollum.
I like the idea. Vasquez did a great job of getting his hands on that, and you want to reward your guys from running the floor. So that's an aggressive play. You're not mad at that as a coach. You want to see you guys run, push the ball ahead. It just didn't work out for them that possession.
CSM will look to run whenever they get a chance. They do like to push tempo. Skyline content in the half-court type offense. And another turnover, but San Mateo throws it right back. And now they'll battle for it. Let's see which way the foul's going. Going to go against Skyline.
And I'll tell you what, that's what I call the Malox moment for a coach, right? You get a turnover to a turnover. That's what put the gray hairs on you.
So they changed the call now, and they say it is on San Mateo, on Jefferson. So it'll be Skyline basketball. Here's another look. Chaotic possession for both sides, and probably the right call. It looked like Jefferson kind of threw his arm out there to get an advantage.
Yeah, just a little forearm shiver.
Still just the 5th team foul for San Mateo, so not quite in the bonus yet. 18 fouls for Skyline.
Well, they had 4 fouls quickly because they had 1.
Three-pointer in and out. Hainsworth, count it, and 1.
Again, Hainsworth's ability to play on top of the rim. He went up high and was able to grab that basketball. I was thinking he would just go right up with it, but he did bring it down, was able to gather himself, finish at the front of the rim for the foul.
I'll tell you what, I mean, it's impressive that Hainsworth is up there in the rebounding category. He's not that big. He's 6'2", but you see the leaping ability and the aggressive play.
And he did one thing that a lot of bigs don't do, is he shot lift. Get the defenders up in the air, and then you go up for the shot, which he did. He's just not able to convert the free throw.
31-24. Bulldogs with a 7-point lead and the ball. Benjamin looking back to his coach to call out the play. He'll try and get it toward the paint, but we're going to have an offensive foul.
And that's where you find the Bulldogs struggling at, in that half-court set. And that's why Coach Marcial was saying earlier, getting that point guard that can break down the defender, get inside the paint area to find open players, allow them to be much more successful. Benjamin is good in open court, but not as good in the half-court set.
Bulldogs have been playing pretty good defense. That's why they maintain the 7-point lead, even though the points have dried up a little bit recently.
And they've been able to handle Vasquez as well. Vasquez, remember, last game had 23 points.
Yeah,
so far,
still hasn't scored
he hasn't
tonight.
scored.
Yeah.
So great job by the Bulldogs keeping him under wraps.
And we're going to have a foul on Skyline. Looked like Sammy was trying to draw the offensive foul, but a no call, and foul ends up going against him. So it'll be a 1-and-1 for McCollum.
Yeah, McCollum went baseline, and Sammy just fell down. I mean, he didn't do anything. Then he tried to do the kick save, but the referee said, no, not here. And they call that foul.
McCollum makes the first free throw. He's at 83% on the year. And 2 for 2 for number 24, so he's got 6 points. San Mateo, 4 different players with 6 points. Arenas, Lopez, McCollum, and Jefferson. And they lead it by 9.
Nice balanced scoring for the Bulldogs.
Three-pointer on the way, and that's a nice answer from Elijah Flowers.
And that's Flowers' 14th three-ball this season.
Good hands by Vasquez. It deflects out of bounds.
I think Vasquez had no choice. Yeah. The ball was heading
Get those hands up or take it in the face.
Right to the face.
Still 23 seconds on the shot clock for the Bulldogs. Inbound to Benjamin. Going to work in the post. Leans in. Wild shot, but an offensive rebound by Jefferson. And I think he's going to draw the foul.
Yeah, Benjamin got in the area amongst the trees, hoping that he would make that shot to no avail. But there was a foul of Skyline, and he was shooting 1-and-1s.
Jefferson, a good rebounder. He averages nearly 6 a game, along with 10 points. Not, however, a great free throw shooter, just 50%. And they're going to dry up the court a little bit before he attempts. It's actually a double bonus situation, so he will get 2. 10th team foul against Skyline.
So based upon his 13 for 26, you're saying he should go 14 for 27 here? It's 2 free throws, right?
Well, we'll see. I already jinxed one guy. I don't want to jinx another.
For all complaints, make sure that you tweet Ben Tweets at Ben Tweets.
Yeah, send me all those Twitter complaints. I love to see them.
Twitter complaints, please. Ben Tweets.
Well, he was 50% coming into the game, so that says he should go 1 for 2, right? There you go. He's now 14 for 28.
And I called it. I said that.
Yes, you did.
I did say
you
that.
did.
So
hey, that's why you're the analyst. You know the game.
Well, give me the nice tweets at JSK and the bad tweets to Ben Tweets.
Jefferson now leads all scorers with 7 points. That time the three-pointer off the mark from Vasquez. Still trying to get into the scorebook. Here's Lopez, cut off by Vasquez. Lopez kicks it back outside. Still 14 on the shot clock, and Benjamin will slow it down. Benjamin double teamed. Luong trying to create space. He puts up a tough shot. That was a nice defensive stand by Skyline.
Excellent defensive stand by the Trojans. As you mentioned, now see if they can score.
See which way this is going to go. Good hands from Luong, but I think it's going to stay on this end.
Well, if I'm Coach Pegrossi and I'm down by 7 and Vasquez hasn't scored, I like my chances coming out of the second half.
Spurlock still the leading scorer for Skyline with 6. He made a couple of three-pointers early in this one. Vasquez. Skyline will work the perimeter to Lum. His three-pointer off the mark. And here come the Bulldogs.
Nice rebound by Luong, going high and corralling that.
McCollum tries to drive left. He's cut off. As the defense has really picked up from both teams after a hot start on the offensive end.
I would agree. Vasquez did a good job.
That ball tipped out of bounds. It'll stay on this end. 6 on the shot clock.
Vasquez is daring McCollum to shoot the basketball. As he's playing down, they're doubling down on the post. So anytime that McCollum's on the perimeter, you're going to see they're going to dig down on the post player. They don't believe that he will shoot the basketball. He's only taken 1 3 this season.
And that'll be off of San Mateo. So another good defensive stand.
So going back to that point with McCollum, that's recognizing and understanding the scouting report, because he's only taken an attempted 1 3 this season. So anytime he's on the perimeter, Ben, you just back off and force him to shoot the basketball, something he's not comfortable with doing.
Let's see if Skyline can get their offense going. Looked like Hainsworth almost tried to pass that to himself off the backboard. And we'll have a foul going against Skyline.
And we mentioned Hainsworth scores a majority of his baskets either at the free throw line or around the rim. So if they can contain him in those areas, they'll do a good job of negating him to score.
No, he died. I think he died at home. He's a kid from San Francisco.
More free throws coming up for San Mateo. David Peterson missing his first attempt. And he misses the second as well. So a missed opportunity for the Bulldogs. Still a 7-point lead. Lum fakes the three, drives it inside, and a nice finish.
When you know you're a scorer, your mentality is to score. And Vasquez did a great job of creating space using the short jumper.
Yeah, I said Lum, it was Vasquez. So Vasquez gets on the score sheet his first basket of the night. And the answer from Jackie Luong from distance.
And Luong said, I'll do one better. Hand in the face, knockdown.
8-point lead for San Mateo, minute and a half to go in the first half. Ainsworth thought about the jump shot.
And that's the shot he needs to take, Ben. That's the shot. But you see he wants to do
that was pretty nice.
Circus shot to the rim, hocus pocus, show you my bag of tricks.
He's certainly, to your point though, Joaquin, he's certainly shown the inside game. But he will need to develop a little bit of a mid-range or outside jumper just to complete the offensive game, maybe give him some more space. And an offensive foul here.
It will allow him to score at 2 levels versus at 1 level.
Right.
But, you know, he went into his bag of tricks, was able to score, hocus pocus.
So that's an offensive foul called against San Mateo. 37-31 Bulldogs. They've led for most of this first half. But Skyline's done a pretty good job staying close. And as you mentioned earlier, Joaquin, you know, with Vasquez only scoring the 2 points, still right in this game, and now they're a little bit closer. 3-pointer from Shab.
That was nice, patient offense. Defender fell asleep. Shab in the corner was able to line it up.
37-34. San Mateo working the clock, down to 12 on the shot clock. And that's Lopez attacking, but well defended. Here comes Skyline. They want to push. Vasquez to the rim, no good. Gets his own rebound, puts it up and puts it in. And it's a 1-point game.
And we mentioned the fact that, remember, they were down at 1 point by 7. Vasquez starting to percolate. Now they're starting to get into the basketball game. See, now they're running a 1-2-2 matchup zone defense.
3 seconds left. Benjamin puts it up, gets the roll as the buzzer sounds, and that will end the first half. An entertaining one here at Skyline College. San Mateo, the visitors, with a 3-point lead, 39-36. Joaquin, what are your main takeaways from that first half?
Well, you've seen the Bulldogs came up with a lot of energy, but Skyline came back and was able to gather themselves at home to get right back in this basketball game with Vasquez starting to percolate.
So 39-36, our halftime score. San Mateo with a 3-point lead over Skyline. Don't go away. We have a video tribute coming up to Kedron Buckner, who we told you about at the top of this broadcast. That's coming up right now on the Bay Area Online Sports Network.
Someone inbounded to and intercepted by Buckner.
Now Buckner's going to finish this.
Buckner with the left hand. Let him fly high, coach.
Very nice.
Down, we're tied at 2. So you saw the man-to-man defense here from West Valley. This time for the 3, Buckner knocks it down. Back to Ladine.
Oh.
Nice pass to Buckner.
Great cut by Buckner and a great find by Ladine.
Buckner with 9. Pushing back out. Buckner knocks it down. And the tic-tac-toe to Buckner, and he continues to stay hot.
Very impressed.
Buckner. Buckner now in the corner. He's going to take a three from the corner. Knocks it down.
Big fella's fault, but that was all. Look at that.
And there you see the banner in memory of number 30, Kedron Buckner. As you saw there, passed away tragically at the age of 20. His mother in the crowd tonight, you're looking at her there, Sharon Gray. And so, he was a great player too. First team all-conference, averaged almost 14 points per game during her career. As we are now joined by the athletic director for Skyline College, Joe Morello. Joe, first, thanks for being with us. And
Thank you for having me.
Obviously, hate to start on such a sad note, but tonight marks the 2-year anniversary of Kedron Buckner's passing. The school or the basketball program has started the Kedron Buckner Memorial Scholarship, and that's given annually to one student at Skyline. Already raised thousands of dollars.
Yeah,
nice to see that happen.
And it's through Justin's leadership, our head coach, Justin Piergrossi.
Yeah.
He's worked closely with the family in terms of putting the scholarship together, and it's a memorial for Kedron. Kedron was with us 3 years. It was his third year. Mm-hmm. And to see the growth and the way he developed, not only as a basketball player, but as a student and as a person, it's incredibly sad. And you're right, it's a hard thing, but it's also a celebration of him and who he was. He was had a unique personality, a great young man. We mourn his loss, but we celebrate his life. And that's what the scholarship is.
Exactly.
If people are interested, they can email Justin directly because he can put them in touch with our foundation. His email is PIERGROSSIJ, the symbol at SMCCD.
And it is really nice that, take such a tragic loss and at least
and make
create
it a positive.
this memorial scholarship fund. And so great job by Coach Piergrossi and the whole program here. Well, talking about the basketball program here, it's an exciting team that you guys have this season, a close game tonight against San Mateo. Just talk about the job that Coach has done since he's been here. He seems like he's a really good leader both on and off.
Oh, he is. Justin's tremendous. I mean, I love all the coaches here.
Yeah.
Justin was hired by my predecessor, Andreas Wolf, and he is the best representative of this program that I could hope to have for Skyline College. He does a great job recruiting the students, developing them, moving them on. We were a Scholar Team winner in 2009-10. We've nominated the team 3 out of the last 4 years. We're going to nominate them again. Yeah. So he does everything that he can to develop the students academically, emotionally, to mature them and then move them on as basketball players. Like this year, we lost our top freshman last year, Masi Mohammed. Justin got him a scholarship to a D1 school. Yeah. It was too good of an opportunity. So that hurts us. Right. I think we would definitely be a playoff team if we had Masi.
Sure.
We don't. But Justin felt it was the right thing for him. So I was thrilled that Masi got the scholarship. But that's who Justin is. Yeah. He is totally focused on the well-being of his students.
Well, and that's part of what it means to be, especially here at a school like Skyline College. Obviously, you want to have success on the court, but ultimately you're trying to do what's best for these players and help them in their careers. I mean, not just basketball, but for all of your athletics programs here. I would imagine that's a big part of it, is seeing them go on to bigger and better things.
It is, and it's part of the college. I mean, our goal is to be student ready, and not to make them college ready, but for us to be student ready. And that's a big part of what we do here. We try to provide the support, the environment, the instruction, everything that someone needs in order to be successful, because we want to get them in We want to get them through, and then we want them to transfer and have the success that they have waiting for them.
Well, I'm going to ask you to talk a little bit about tonight's game.
Sure.
Another close one, 39-36 San Mateo. You know, I don't know if you were at the first game at San Mateo between these two teams.
I watched it. I actually watched it on here.
Glad to hear it. That was another a close one that you guys were able to pull out.
Sure.
What do you think is going to need to happen here in the second half to make it a sweep for you guys?
I think we're going to need to rebound a little bit better. Get those loose balls, knock down some more shots. I thought we had a good end of the first half. For us, what it really comes down to is getting all those free balls. That'll be the big thing for us. CSM has the size. They're well coached. Justin will do a great job with our guys. It comes down to making shots in the second half.
All right, Joe Morello, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure.
Great talking to you, the athletic director for Skyline College. We got a good one at halftime, 39-36, San Mateo on top. Don't go away. We'll have the second half for you coming up right after this on the Bay Area Online Sports Network.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This is about more than work. It's about growing a community. Every day, across the country, the highly skilled, highly trained members of the IBEW are committed to doing the job right, doing the job safe, and doing the job on time. Because while we might be experts in our field, we're also your friends and neighbors. IBEW, the power professionals in your neighborhood.
And we are back at Skyline College, just about 3 minutes away from the second half. Your score 39-36 in favor of the visiting San Mateo Bulldogs. Interesting first half as we bring Joaquin Wallace back in here. You know, balanced scoring on both sides. I think we were looking at the leading scorers. There's 4 guys with 7, and that's about it. So it just shows the balance in these offensive attacks.
Well, we talked about it earlier, the fact that both teams come in evenly matched in terms of statistics, the stats, so to speak.
Yeah.
So they're playing that way now. Vasquez is starting to percolate, as I said, later in the quarter. Now they're getting back in the game here.
Yeah, let's take a look at some of these highlights. You see Jefferson doing work on the offensive glass there.
And we talked about Jefferson. He's a key component because they felt, with Coach Marcel, felt that if he can get started early, that'll allow them to score.
You see the really nice interior passing. You know, early on, San Mateo offensively looked almost unstoppable.
And I like what Benjamin's been able to do in an open court as well. He's been able to find his guys. He keeps his chin up, finds the players. And this was a nice shot for Luang. Had some pressure. Luang was able to knock that down with a hand in the face.
Yeah, not much more you can do as a defender there. And then, of course, in transition.
And this is unselfish play from Arenas. Finds his teammates running down. But, you know, this was a key play here because we talk about layups, putbacks, and free throws. Not quitting on the play. Sammy was able to knock that down in terms of the follow-up for the Trojans.
And then you see the nice move inside from Shab. He's one of those 4 players with 7 points tonight.
And he's played well with 7 points, as you mentioned. Here's a 3-ball by Flowers. We talked about the importance of him missing the last game, was able to knock down, I believe he knocked down a couple of threes so far. That's Vasquez getting untracked late in the quarter, but they're going to need him in the second half because, again, 23 points before. That was the key for them to get back in this game.
All right, well, yeah, you brought it up. Let's talk about the keys for the second half. What do you think it's going to take for both of these teams?
Well, you've got to limit turnovers, limit transition baskets, and make open shots. So on the other end, the Bulldogs need to make sure they get back on defense, don't turn the ball over, and make shots when they're open. That's what they didn't do the last time they played one another.
San Mateo with a 3-point lead as they try and even the season series at a win apiece. How about for Skyline? What are they going to need to do?
Well, we talked about handling pressure. There hasn't been any pressure, so Marcel has kind of mixed it up, so to speak. But control number 5 and 15, they've been able to do that somewhat, handle the moment. Not too big for them as well, but make sure 5 and 15 don't get off. Arenas, 6 points, as well as Luang has 7. So they did a pretty decent job on those 2 players. But, again, they're going to have to come out and play well this second half.
We're just about 20 seconds away now from the second half, and as we expected, a competitive game between 2 pretty evenly matched teams. The first one earlier this month went to Skyline by the count of 70-67. We'll see if they can come back and make it 2 for 2 in this season series. It'll be San Mateo starting with the first possession. So underway in half number 2, San Mateo in the blue road uniforms, moving from right to left as the teams switch sides for the second half. And let's see what they have cooked up out of the halftime break. Jefferson gets blocked from behind by Shab, stays with it, and Jefferson lays it in.
Well, they talked about Jefferson being a key component to the win this evening, and what do? They run a cross screen on the bottom side for him, allow him to post up. He's able to score.
Jefferson now leading all scorers with 9 points and a 5-point lead. Good look from Vasquez. And the basket goes to Flowers.
And we talked about the importance of having him in the game. 7 points so far. Comes in averaging just a shade under 10.
Take another look at this.
Nice job using the second side on the rebound. On the layup. Flowers able to score on 2 levels from distance as well as in the painted area.
We've seen some really good passes tonight as Coach Pegrosi trying to work the officials here a little bit. Early on, all the fouls were going against Skyline. Kind of evened up towards the end of that first half, but still Pegrosi looking for some more calls for his guys as Jefferson gets into double figures.
So they ran a little ball screen for Arenas coming off, and guess what? They forgot to guard Jefferson. He was wide open, and Arenas was able to find him just camping under the rim.
Jefferson, the freshman out of Palo Alto High School, is having a nice night. Open 3 for Vasquez, and he's starting to heat up a bit, up to 7 points.
We mentioned last time out, 23 points. Look for him to get off early here in the second half.
2-point lead for the Bulldogs. And another foul called away from the ball on Skyline. I think Flowers may be the guilty party here.
As you hear, Coach Pegrosi is pleading with the official, asking, what is he supposed to do? Ben, what is he supposed to do on that?
I don't know, but I like Pegrosi looking out for his players. That's what a coach has to do, right? Be on your player's side.
Even when you're wrong, you be on your player's side.
Maybe you get that call next time for your guy.
That's what you're hoping for.
8 on the shot clock, and there you go. Offensive foul. I don't know if he would have gotten the call anyway, but in this case, it kind of goes to what we're talking about.
He is definitely working. Referee Dwayne Ely, Oakland native. But one thing that we started off, Benjamin is starting in the second half. I don't think we mentioned that.
Right.
Because they like his activity when he was on the floor.
Yeah, he was very aggressive and effective in that first half on both ends, particularly in transition. Walter Lum probing this zone. He'll feed it for Hainsworth. Won't get the shot to go, but he does earn a trip back to the free throw line.
And that's what he does. Remember, we mentioned the fact that he has 81 free throw attempts coming into the game. Add 2 more to that to 83. Now he has a couple more.
Only shoots at about 60%. Certainly an area he would like to improve, but getting to the line a lot this season, and that's a good thing for Skyline.
Anytime you can score at the free throw line bodes well, but oftentimes then the free throw line is the 6th defender on the floor, the best defender, because oftentimes you're not able to convert.
1 out of 2 for Hainsworth. And San Mateo leads by 1. Bulldogs have led by as many as 9 tonight. They led by 3 at halftime. And Skyline has fought their way back within a point. 3-pointer from the corner is short out of the hand of Luong. And it'll go out of bounds to Skyline.
So again, you can see that the Bulldogs are employing a Princeton-style offense, bringing the post player above the three-point line to create driving lanes and passing lanes to the basket.
Defense has certainly picked up from both squads. Good pass there to Hainsworth. Reverse layup, no basket. They're going to say he traveled.
He did travel, and that's our first suitcase violation on the floor. First travel, bags on the floor. Referee said, nope, not tonight. It is a travel.
So Skyline nearly able to take their first lead since early in the first half. But the Bulldogs maintain a 1-point advantage. 17 minutes to play. And a good defensive play by Flowers to get a hand in. It'll stay on this end.
And you know what I like about that? Oh, here it is. There's this shuffle. That was almost what they call a second side layup, but he did shuffle his feet.
Down to 8 on the shot clock for Peterson.
That was a nice job of denial on the wing entry pass by Lum.
And a tough shot from Benjamin. Contested jumper. He'll get the ball back, though, off the tap. No call. Couldn't quite finish. Another offensive rebound, and Arenas draws the foul.
And that's the second time that Benjamin, remember in the first half, he had a similar situation amongst the trees, was not able to finish. Come right back to start the second half. Similar situations, not able to finish.
So Arenas will be going back to the free throw line. He's got 6 points tonight. 6'2" freshman out of Archbishop Reardon High School.
And he's 4 for 4 from the free throw line. 45 for 55 on the season.
And his first miss of the night. Take another look at this foul call. That's the one they let go. And a little bit of contact, but he actually missed both free throws.
And that's a rarity.
Lum will pull up and knock down the triple.
Nice transition three by Lum.
And Skyline has its first lead since early on in this one, 45-43.
And we talked about missed free throws is like turnovers. Not able to convert free baskets. Remember, we mentioned the fact that the free throw line can be your best defender on the floor. Lum was able to get in transition, the walk-up three. As you mentioned, now the Trojans have their first lead of the game.
Three-pointer on the way from Arenas. And the rebound to Vasquez. Good outlet pass. Hainsworth behind everybody. Throws it home.
Nice job by Lum keeping his chin up. Was able to find his partner in crime, Hainsworth.
And here we go again. Another turnover. Back and forth we go. And it'll result in a Walter Lum layup and a timeout taken by the Bulldogs.
And just like that, the Trojans are starting to take control of this basketball game, getting out in transition, getting easy baskets. But when you look at things that happen when a game, Arenas at the free throw line, missed both of those free throws, hurt them, and now the Trojans able to get out in front.
It'll be a 30-second timeout taken by San Mateo. Well, we want to remind you tonight's game is brought to you by Jim Breen's State Farm Insurance, serving all your insurance needs for auto, home, and life. Since 2013, Jim has served the insurance needs of San Mateo County residents, a proud supporter of CSM Athletics. 49-43, Skyline all of a sudden has opened up a 6-point lead, their biggest of the night. And they've really come out strong here in the second half. They trailed 39-36 at the break, so by my math, that means they've outscored the Bulldogs 13-4 here in half number 2.
And remember, Ben, I mentioned I didn't go to night school, so I don't add too well, so thank you for that.
I'm not promising I'm right either, but tweet me if I'm wrong, right? Ben Ross tweets.
Ben Ross tweets.
Send all your complaints. It'll stay on this end. San Mateo looking for an answer here as the Trojans have come out strong in the second half.
And you talk about it from a coaching perspective. At halftime, you always tell your guys the first 4 minutes coming out of half is critical. Where, remember, the Bulldogs came out with energy in that first half.
And a nice shot fake by Benjamin. He sent Lum flying into the air, kind of landed awkwardly on top of him. Both players are okay, and it'll be free throws for Benjamin.
It looked like as though that Benjamin was going to give Lum a ride. Piggyback ride.
Yeah. So they'll clean up that wet spot. And we'll have free throws coming to Daniel Benjamin.
You know, it happened in the blink of an eye, where the Bulldogs was managing the game. You know, and we go back to pivotal parts of the game. I go back again. 2 free throws, missed by Arenas. He comes in shooting at 80%. Who would have thunk it, so to speak?
Right.
He missed both those free throws. What happens? Lum come up with a walk-up 3. Next thing you know, dunk by Hainsworth. Now they have their momentum.
Good sportsmanship there from Lum, helping Benjamin up. He made the first free throw. And 2 for 2 for the redshirt freshman out of Jefferson High. Shot no good. Here comes Arenas pushing ahead for McCollum. And back the other way goes Skyline. Pace starting to pick up a little bit. You'd think that would favor San Mateo, but actually Skyline has kind of taken advantage of this back and forth here in the second half.
Skyline runs when they have opportunities to run, so that's not in their DNA. But once they get a chance to get out in open court, they can do that. They can space the floor as well with Lum and Vasquez, and then you have Hainsworth that can come down with the hammer down the middle of the lane.
Sure. Hainsworth, nice look in the corner to Avak, and he'll knock down the 3. Good ball movement.
And that's a great job. You throw it to the pinch post. It's a 4-5 screen. Hainsworth comes hard off of the defense, sucks down. What you always say, don't help on strong sides. The defender did that, and Avak was able to knock down the 3.
Another turnover is the steal from Vasquez, and he gets fouled. So on both ends of the floor, Skyline has really stepped up the intensity, and it's showing up here in the second half.
Benjamin in the first half was able to do that with success. Vasquez was able to jump down. And we always say in defense, on the defensive side of the ball, move in the direction of the ball. Vasquez did a good job of that and was able to steal.
7-point lead for Skyline, and certainly feels like a big part of this, big moment in this game if you're San Mateo. Got to stem this run from the Trojans and just stay close. Hainsworth will try the outside jumper, and there you go. We were talking about how he needed to add that 15, 18-footer, and he hits that one.
And they ran the same play again, but this time they stayed with Avak. Hainsworth took the jumper at the pinch post, so they would knock it down.
So the lead is up to 9 for Skyline, their biggest lead of the game. Nice cut by Arenas, and it's swatted away. Avak sends it back.
And in volleyball, they call that roofing.
That was nice weak side help from Avak, only 6 feet tall, but he showed some elevation on that one.
Helping the helper, one of the hardest defenses to teach. Nice job by Skyline.
This Trojans defense has been stifling here in the second half. Arenas with one on the shot clock. He didn't see it. And another turnover, and they are fired up on the Skyline bench.
And that's miscommunication. The bench should be yelling out the shot clock to their players on the floor. The point guard needs to recognize that. That's a mental breakdown for the Bulldogs.
So can the Bulldogs find an answer here? It's been an onslaught from Skyline. And Hainsworth, what else is new? Gets back to the free throw line.
And they run the same play again. They have Hainsworth at the pinch perk. They're running a 5-4 screen. He's coming off of going right to left because he's left-handed. If they convert, he kicks out to the 3 ball. If not, he goes right to the rim for the jumper or the layup to the rim like he did there.
Hainsworth with 12 points tonight. That leads all scorers. And he will add to the total. And we'll have a timeout taken by Skyline. So a nice start to the second half for the Trojans. They've upped the lead to double digits. This will be a full timeout for Coach Pegrosi. 55-45. We'll be right back here on the Bay Area Online Sports Network. Back at Skyline, as you see the San Mateo huddle, Joaquin, what do the Bulldogs need to do here to kind of get back in this game now?
Well, they need to get their mojo back, right? But one thing that they need to do is score baskets, and we talked about that. Remember, that was one of the keys to the game.
Yeah.
Bulldogs need to score baskets. Skyline has done a great job, limit transition. They haven't been able to do that. Skyline's been able to get out and get loose in transition.
Well, the first time these two teams matched up, Skyline, or check that, San Mateo only shot 37% in that game, and it seemed like in the first half it was going to be a different story tonight. The Bulldogs got off to a good offensive start. Been a different story really since around the midway mark of that first half, and it's carried over into half number 2.
Yeah, they closed the first half well, and then they started the second half well. They had the momentum going into the first half, coming out of the first half rather, and they came out of the second half using that same momentum.
14 points now for Hainsworth, and it's an 11-point lead. Benjamin can't answer for the Bulldogs, and the Trojans continue to play solid defense.
Well, they're forcing the Bulldogs to be one-dimensional now. Shoot the ball from behind the arc, and they're not able to score. It's one shot now.
And another bucket. This one, Jacob Schab extends the lead up to 13.
And Vasquez used the second side for the reverse layup. Although he didn't make it, the defender had to come and support that, and Schab was able to grab the rebound for the stick back.
That's a foul against Skyline, but here in the second half, 22-6 is the scoring advantage for the Trojans. They trailed by 3 at halftime. Remember, they trailed by as many as 9 in that first half, and they now lead it by 13. A complete turnaround.
And what are they doing? They're managing the basketball. They're not turning it over, and they're sticking to their DNA. They know who they are. They didn't panic. Continue to move the basketball, and that wears down the defense because you're constantly moving as well. Skyline has showing more diversity in their scoring, whereas the Bulldogs are one-dimensional at this point.
And another missed free throw there from Lopez, and he misses them both. So really everything going Skyline's way right now. You talk about how those free throws are like another turnover. We've seen quite a few missed free throws. And when you're struggling to score, that's really hurting the Bulldogs. Vasquez looking for somewhere to go with the ball.
The spacing is bad there, Ben.
And it leads to a turnover. So you called it. We were down to 8 on the shot clock. They kind of got caught in the same area and turned it over.
You can see here, there's the hook there. You have 3 guys meeting in the same place. It was like in a phone booth.
Let's see if the Bulldogs can get their offense going. Only 6 points in now more than 8 minutes this half. Pass inside to Arenas. He can't finish. Offensive rebound and the putback. I think it'll go to Lopez.
But we know that was Jacob Schab with that, but Lopez will take it.
Lead down to 11. So now if you're San Mateo, you really need stops. 3-pointer from Vasquez, in and out. And what do we have? A held ball. Possession arrow will keep it with Skyline.
And Hainsworth came flying in. The man on the trapeze just goes up high like a jumping jack.
Timeout taken by San Mateo. 58-47. Skyline on top. Well, tonight's game is being brought to you by Jim Breen State Farm Insurance, serving all your insurance needs for auto, home, and life. Jim is a lifelong resident of San Mateo County, a member of the San Mateo Chamber. He knows your community and how best to meet your insurance needs. Contact Jim for all your insurance needs. 11-point lead for Skyline, and Coach Pegrosi has to be happy with what he's seeing here, especially since his halftime speech.
Well, in the first half, I seen some gray hairs sprouting from Pegrosi's head. But whatever happened, they're now gone.
Yeah, now his hair's all black.
Now it's all black. But nice backdoor play here out of the Princeton, but they said, no, not today.
Yeah.
The go-go gadget arm said,
Look at a Vaughn.
No.
Look at Avak. He says, that's my block, right? He wants to make sure he gets credit. I think there were a couple of Trojans there. They don't treat blocks like they do sacks in football, right? You can't get a half a block if it's two guys. I think they pick one guy.
Yeah, you know what? That's something we need to take up. We need to put a petition for that one there, Ben.
Well, don't worry, Mr. Avak. You got that block. Hainsworth a little strong with his shot. And here comes San Mateo looking to get out in transition. But Skyline defensively gets back down the court.
Again, that's Benjamin missing inside. But I'll tell you what, that play was made by Schaub, stopping the transition, because that could have been an easy run out for the Bulldogs.
Kick ball.
That's going to be a kickball against San Mateo. Good defense, but you're right. It looked like, and I'm sure that's something San Mateo would love to do, is get the pace back up, get out in transition, but Skyline's transition defense has been excellent.
Yeah, they was able to get back and stop the transition, force them to run a play. Benjamin again gets inside amongst the trees and is not able to finish.
And we have a timeout on the floor. Let's see if, not sure what they're looking at here. Do we have an injury?
Well, you see the officials.
Officials just talking something over. Oh, it looks like one of our officials is being stretched out, cramping up a little bit behind us. Can't quite see who that is. So
the pace is so fast.
Fast
the
pace.
Official needs to be worked on.
There you go.
It's like the cut doctor, right?
Cramping up.
I think I need to go over there as well, too.
You got next?
Yeah, I got next.
All right. 11-point lead for the Trojans.
Put your stripes on, Joe.
Skyline coming in at 10-10 on the season.
See the former San Francisco State assistant coach.
That's right, and Skyline.
And Skyline as well.
And you see Joe Morello there, who we talked to at halftime, the athletic director at Skyline. I think we're going to continue play for the moment with two officials.
So we had two officials cramping up. I guess I need to put the shirt on and go out there as well, Ben.
You might need to. So as of right now, we're playing with two officials. Skyline with the basketball, 10 on the shot clock, tipped out of bounds with 8 on the clock.
Nice ball rotation. McCullum did a great job of getting his hands on that to knock it out of bounds. We talk about deflections. It's just as good as steals. 8 seconds on the shot clock for the Trojans.
See if the Trojans can get a good look here in these final 8. Yes, they do. The out-of-bounds play. And Jacob Schaub finds himself all alone underneath. And now another turnover by San Mateo.
Screen-to-screener action is so devastating under the basket. And that's what you had there. Schaub came up with screen-to-screener for a wide-open layup.
So the lead is back to 13 and another possession for Skyline. They have taken control here in the second half. We mentioned they're 10-10 overall, 3-4 in conference play. That's 6th place, but only a game out of 3rd place at 4-3. That's where San Mateo is entering action tonight. Vasquez walks into a jumper and rebounded by McCollum.
And Coach Pegrosi is saying one more pass. He had an open man in the corner. Vasquez decided to shoot it. Not able to knock it down.
There's an open look. And you don't want to give Luong too many open looks like that. That's a big 3. Cuts the lead to 10.
That's his 3rd 3-ball from distance.
That's what he does. Luong, one of the better shooters in this conference, came into the game shooting 41% from three-point range.
54 made threes. Add 3 more to 57. You definitely have to stay connected to Luong because he doesn't need that much room to fire it up. And Flowers had a layup, but he passed it out to Lum.
Down to 10 on the shot clock for Lum. He'll kick out to Flowers. And Flowers gets his own rebound.
Second chance opportunities.
Three-pointer Vasquez. Yes, sir. Lead back to 13.
And that has to be one of the prettiest plays that we've seen behind the back with Lum.
That'll count for Arenas. Basket and the foul.
Hopefully we have that one because that was beautiful basketball. Lum was able to get the rebound behind the back, left-handed pass. Vasquez steps in for the 3-ball.
So a chance at a three-point play for Arenas. 63-52. Trojans up by 11. Couple substitutions here for Skyline as Vasquez will get a breather. And the free throw no good, but an offensive rebound, still can't convert. And a turnover as it's thrown away by Shab. Skyline trying to argue that it was touched, but it won't be as you take another look at this three.
Look at this three-pointer here. Right here behind the back, right there. Bam, see that pass right there? Bucket. Nice job.
San Mateo now in possession. Another three from Luong. Short. And Shab corrals the rebound.
Skyline still need to continue to be aggressive. Nice job by Benjamin, creating the turnover.
Yeah, he anticipated that. And Arenas steps into a three, too strong. Avak skies for the board.
That's one of those shots that if it goes in, you're yelling, no, and yeah, good shot.
Avak going against McCollum. Skyline working some clock here, 10 on the shot clock. Flowers looking for a screen. Hainsworth will try the jump shot, and that's the second outside jumper he's hit this half. And a quick timeout taken by Justin Pegrosi of Skyline.
And that was beautiful basketball because Hainsworth recognized that he doesn't shoot the ball from behind the arc. He's only 2 for 15. What does he do? Step into a more comfortable shot at the pinch post. Lefty was able to knock that down.
30-second timeout for Skyline. We'll keep it right here. Want to remind you again, tonight's game being brought to you by Jim Bream's State Farm Insurance, serving all your insurance needs for auto, home, and life. Since 2013, Jim has served the insurance needs of San Mateo County residents, a proud supporter of CSM Athletics. Let's take another look at this three-pointer on the behind-the-back pass.
That's beautiful basketball behind the back, and he knew his guy was there, was able to step up. Vasquez.
He was pumped up, too.
Trusting the offense, knowing exactly where your players are at. You can tell they played together.
You know you're feeling it, too, when you start pointing to your bench. And, yeah, Vasquez, after a slow start, now in double figures with 10.
See the referee, Dwayne Ely, trying to get stretched out.
Now we're still going with 2 at the moment. Ely was dealing with some cramps. They were stretching him out behind us. Here comes San Mateo. Nice pass to the top for McCarrick, but he can't convert. And a foul on the rebound going against the Bulldogs.
And I tell you what, Ben, when Jim Petromili played, that was many moons ago. It was only one referee. Then they went to 2 referees. So he's used to seeing this here.
Yeah, that's all you need. You only need one. And if we lose that, too, we can just have the players call their own fouls, right? Call your own foul.
I think Jim was there when they originated the game with Naismith.
Wow. You said it, not me.
I'm just saying, I don't know.
It'll be Walter Lum shooting 1-and-1 for Skyline. And he knocks down the front end.
Take a look at the replay. Lum was this fouled. The opportunity for free throws. And this is like a tale of two halves.
Yes, it is. 2 for 2 at the line for Lum, and biggest lead of the game for Skyline, 67-52. They trailed by 3 at the break. Open look for Arenas, and they needed that one. Big shot by the freshman out of Archbishop Reardon.
And that's his first 3 of the evening.
And normally he's a pretty good three-point shooter. Came in at 37%. He was shooting 49% in conference play, 17 for 35. Cuts the lead to 12. Hainsworth. Now Shab with 8 on the shot clock. Works it back to Flowers for 3. Skyline with the answer once again.
And that's nice, patient offense. Shab got to a place on the floor, kept his chin up, was able to find Flowers with a straight-on 3.
Here's Jefferson, nice spin, and hits the little fadeaway jumper.
That was a big-time move. Used the defender's body, rolled off of him, a nice jumper.
Jefferson leads San Mateo with 13 points tonight. But it's still a 13-point Skyline lead with under 7 minutes to play. Hainsworth being guarded by Arenas. Hainsworth turnaround lefty jumper. That was well done. Hainsworth has really been showing off the arsenal. He's up to 18 points.
And they put the ball in Hainsworth's hand, allowing him to dictate the offense.
Arenas tries to drive baseline. Little floater is short and rebounded by Shab. Check that, Avak with the board.
The help defense was outstanding.
And a timeout ticket. I don't think Pegrosi was trying to call that timeout, but they do get it, as it'll be a 30-second timeout. Full timeout, check that. 72-57, Skyline on top. 6:02 to play. We'll be right back here from Skyline College.
The best food deserves the best salsas. I can assist you, for I am El Salsa Recommender. Carnitas Burrito, the Volcan. Steak and prawns, Oaxaca. Tacos al Pastor, Molcajete. Salsa is not about the heat, it's about the flavor. My work here is done.
Who is that? I don't know.
Pancho Villa Taqueria. I recommend it.
Back at Skyline College, the Trojans with a 15-point lead, 72-57. As we've got dueling three-pointers here. It seems like every time San Mateo makes a charge, Skyline has the answer.
Yeah, Arenas was able to get his first 3, but I love that opportunity. Pass out the opposite side for the 3, and here it is. Nice job again by Hainsworth, showing all his tools in the toolbox.
He's feeling it too. Some good players on this Skyline team. And they have started to impose their will in the second half. Avak with 8 on the shot clock. Good defense here from San Mateo. Hainsworth takes it himself, and he draws a foul. A reach-in, I think, going to be on Lopez.
No, that would be on McCullum, I think, on the floor. But they found a matchup that they like, and that's with Hainsworth. And they're allowing him to dictate the offense. They're putting the ball in his hands because, as you see, Lum doesn't really have the basketball at this point. They're giving the ball to Hainsworth and allowing him to initiate the offense.
It's a one-on-one for Hainsworth. And after a couple of early misses at the line, he's even hitting his free throws.
Yeah, you can see here, it goes hard to the basket. Fouls on the floor on McCullum. They like that matchup because, again, they're putting the ball in his hands. The sophomore Noah Hainsworth is showing up big time this evening.
Hainsworth up to 20 points to lead all scorers. And it's a 17-point lead for Skyline. San Mateo got to get going now with 5.5 minutes to play. Jumper from McCollum is short.
Yeah, Hainsworth is an interesting basketball player because he really doesn't have the size, but he leaps like he does, and he's very athletic.
And all of a sudden, it's a 20-point lead for Skyline. That shot will go down for Benjamin. And a quick timeout taken by San Mateo. But the lead's still 18 for the Trojans.
Yeah, they've done an outstanding job coming out of the second half. They ended the first half strong. They started the second half outstanding.
18-point lead for the Trojans. We'll be right back.
Go to Gray's. Gray's knows green. Family owned, Gray's Paints is the Bay Area's leading provider of Benjamin Moore paint, stains, and finishes. Gray's Paint will provide you unparalleled paint expertise, environmentally friendly products, and premium customer service to help you successfully navigate your project. Gray's Paint and Benjamin Moore. Available at 4 Bay Area locations: Burlingame, San Mateo, Redwood City, and Menlo Park. Go to Gray's. Gray's knows green.
Back at Skyline College, Ben Ross alongside Joaquin Wallace. Thanks for joining us tonight on the Bay Area Online Sports Network. Been a fun doubleheader. We had the women's game earlier, now the men. And San Mateo led at halftime by 3, but it's been all Skyline here in half number 2.
Yeah, they've had their way in the second half. They ended the first half strong, as I mentioned earlier, and they've been able to continue that momentum into the second half. And it's been a better team, obviously, as it's pretty much giving the Bulldogs all they can handle here at home.
So now down by 18, San Mateo will go with the full court press. And we mentioned last time out, Skyline handled it well, and they handle it there as Flowers gets it to the front court. That ball was tipped, so it'll stay with Skyline.
And you can anticipate that because now Coach Marcial knows that they need to score quick and early, so we maybe get some scores in the front court, easy baskets. Skyline, again, nice job. There's a hold on the form. Benjamin. Maybe free throws for Hainsworth again.
Hainsworth living at the free throw line as he often does. You talked about how often he gets there. And Hainsworth has been hitting his free throws this half. He's at 20 points to lead all scorers. That foul on Jefferson.
89 free throws this season.
And he hits the front end once again.
And, you know, if you look at Hainsworth, his stroke, it would suggest that he should be a better shooter from the perimeter.
Yeah, it's a good stroke.
Because it's a nice stroke. It's nice and balanced.
Yeah.
It's just something I'm sure he's going to have to work on during the offseason because I can see him playing at the NAIA level. He has the skill set, but he has the athleticism to do so.
We talked about, you know, the only thing he really lacks is the size. He's only 6'2", but he plays bigger than that, certainly. And a foul called against Skyline. That was McCollum who will head to the free throw line.
Yeah, he will need to get into a situation where he will have to play the 2 guard or possibly some point guard. If he go NAIA, he can possibly play the point guard or possibly some 2. Division II, he'll be too small.
And when you talk about playing the point or the 2 guard, either way, probably going to have to continue to improve that outside jumper. But as you said, he does have a good stroke, and we've seen him knock down a couple of jump shots tonight in the second half.
Yeah, mid-range jump shots. He needs to stretch down at least 5 to 10 more feet. He has to get behind the three-point line, and he has to improve his handle as well.
1 out of 2 for McCollum. It's an 18-point lead for the Trojans of Skyline.
Bulldogs took off their run and jump defense.
Lum tried to pass it inside for Flowers. It results in a turnover.
Important scoring opportunity. You have to take advantage of Arenas with a nice floater in the lane.
Yeah, that was big. Arenas now with 13 points to lead San Mateo. And the lead for Skyline is 16. So at this point, San Mateo really can't afford to give up any more baskets. And another turnover, and looking over at Justin Pegrosi, he's about to I think he is starting to go gray now. He's going to rip some of that hair out watching these back-to-back turnovers.
Yeah, that definitely does not bode well. Nice shot lift by Arenas. A nice little 7-footer at the front of the rim.
Here's Benjamin down the lane. Pass trickles through to McCollum. Now Benjamin thinks about the three. Two-man game with McCollum. Fadeaway jumper is good. And the lead down to 14.
Yeah, McCollum made something out of nothing there. He got it in the area, kind of like a no man's land, but used his athleticism to jump over the top of the defender.
See if they trap. They get it to Flowers in the front court. And now Skyline will try to use some clock.
The Bulldogs need to have some stops and scores.
Lum gets into the paint and a kick ball. Now is Luong. So 3:19 to play, a 14-point lead. And they'll reset the shot clock to 20.
And I tell you what, Coach Pedrosi is not happy with Lum. Walter Lum, the freshman right now.
I think he's forced a couple of those passes inside. You don't necessarily have to do that when you've got a big lead. You want to avoid turnovers.
And he's a freshman, and this is what you expect.
Now Vasquez spins out of the double team. Down to 6 on the shot clock. Vasquez wide open for 3. He got it. Big shot by Vasquez. That might be the dagger. 81-64.
And that's the risk you run when you trap on Skyline, because they have the ability to stretch you from distance.
Three-pointer and a foul called. That'll be 3 shots for Bobby Arenas.
Oftentimes you wonder why players would try to block that situation. This reaction. They're so used to and accustomed to challenging shots. Unfortunately, you have 3 free throws for Arenas.
And he gets the bounce on the first one. Arenas coming into action tonight, an 80% free throw shooter, averaging 16 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists. And he hits the first 2 to give him now 15 points on the night, right on his season average.
Yeah, he's been able to show it big. Luong has 2 games has not been able to hit his average against Skyline.
And a timeout called by San Mateo. Lead back down to 14 after the 3 free throws. It'll be a full timeout. With 2:43 to go, Skyline trying to hold on here, leading by 14.
I've been coming to Mobius for over a year, and it's changed my life. Ever since I started coming here, I've gotten in more shape. I've met great people.
If you're just new and you want to start out, you don't have to find your own way to do it. You get people that are showing you exactly what you need to do, so it gives you a perfect program.
The classes are great. There's high energy. We like to have a great time. They play great music, and we get a workout in super quick, and we can get on with our day.
Skyline 2:43 away from their 11th win of the year. They lead it 81-67. And just a wide open shot there for Vasquez.
And again, the Bulldogs like to trap, and the worst place to trap is in the middle of the floor. All the conversion goes, like I talk about beehive basketball. There's the honey. Everyone goes. The bees go to the ball. Vasquez is wide open for the walk-up. Not even walk-up, the stand alone 3-ball, and he's not going to miss too many of those.
Sometimes I feel like shooters don't like to be that open, but yeah, Vasquez, he had plenty of time, and he had no problem knocking that one down. So the full court pressure from San Mateo.
So look for the ball to be in the middle of the floor, some diagonal passes across the top. Now spacing on the floor to get coming from behind, at least 12 to 15 feet apart. Open up the passing lanes.
And they'll foul Vasquez. This is now the double bonus, so he'll get 2 shots. And Vasquez is 72% free throw shooter this year. Well, you can see that, Skyline is well coached. Coach Pegrossi. One of the things we talked about really with both coaches this week is Skyline always takes good shots. They're not going to force any bad shots. They know how to move the ball. They don't turn it over too much. And it makes it tough when you're behind them. You need some help, and they're not going to help you out.
Well, that's what Coach Mike Marcial said, that the first time out that he didn't really understand how good Pegrossi was as a coach because he was able to counteract everything he was able to do. So, hey, look, the first time he was able to beat me this way, I'm going to switch up. And they were successful, but Skyline figured that out as well and got on the run, and they haven't looked back since.
And now it's going to be extremely difficult, a 16-point game with just over 2 minutes to go. And again, Skyline beats the press, and they'll draw a foul.
And they're beating it by running a 1-4 cross on the backcourt, forcing the Bulldogs to try to locate, and they're not able to locate. So now they have, I think, a technical foul possibly.
Yeah, it could be a T, and it'll be on Arena. So you can see a little bit of the frustration now starting to come into play for San Mateo. They got off to a great start tonight, but, yeah, credit to Skyline. They really turned this game around towards the end of that first half and certainly here in the second.
Yeah, Arenas fouled out, and he had a technical to make matters worse. But Skyline got going late in the second half, but Vasquez was pivotal. We talked about him not playing well. He had no points as he ended the first quarter, was able to get on track, started to percolate. Now he's doing the things that we adjusted him to do before. Now they have a lot of just communication on the floor right now. Just getting to know one another, conference foes, asking where they're going to go grab something to eat after the game.
Well, and now you can see Coach Pegrossi telling his guys, hey, we got the lead. Don't even worry about this stuff. Don't get caught up in it. But going back to Vasquez, yeah, he didn't have any points for a while in that first half. He's up to 16 now. So, he's gotten his game going. You look at Walter Lum with the 12, and, of course, Hainsworth leading everybody with 21. And now Flowers makes the free throw to give him 11. So the players that Skyline have needed to show up have certainly showed up in full force tonight.
And recall, we talked about the fact that at one point Skyline was down by 7. Remember, I mentioned the fact that Vasquez hasn't even got started. If I'm Coach Pegrossi, I like that. He ended the first half on fire, and he's been on course ever since then.
18-point lead for Skyline. Three-pointer off the mark. That was Terrence Singh into the game. And Desai Lopez is fouled. So it'll be free throws coming to Lopez. He got off to a hot start tonight, but now 8 points. They've done a better job on him.
Well, I'll tell you what, Ben, that's been a theme of yours. They all got off to a good start.
That's true.
In the first half.
That's
Everyone
true.
did. But in the second half,
I think San Mateo, I think San Mateo, they had about 31 points, like not even too far into the first half. They led at 31-22. And since then, it's really been all Skyline. Now, San Mateo can score some points, and we talked to Coach Marcial about that. Their defense is really where they want to be working, and so you don't want to allow the 85. And now a foul called on Singh.
And San Mateo scores a lot of their points in transition, turnovers, out in traffic. One thing that Skyline is able to do, they're able to manage the basketball.
Yeah.
They pass extremely well. So if you're a trapping team such as San Mateo, you're going to have a lot of opportunities to score because they can't cover the entire floor, 94 feet. So if you can space the floor, throw over the top, which they did the first time out, they was able to score. So the second time, I said, okay, what are we going to do different? Well, we're going to play half court. Well, they figured that out as well because they do have shooters on the floor. In Hainsworth, they found a matchup, and they was not able to contain Hainsworth, and that's why they was able to score.
Yeah, you can see why it's a tough matchup for San Mateo because, as you said, they do rely so much on their pressure defense. Skyline just doesn't seem too bothered by it. They don't turn the ball over. They make smart plays as Hainsworth makes both free throws, and he'll come out of the game with 23 points. A really nice game for the sophomore from Mill Valley.
And if we were doing a player of the game, I think he would easily be
I
the
think
player
he'd be
of
the guy.
game.
Yeah. He has really set the tone early, and all game long he was effective. There's a nice basket for Lopez to get into double figures. 87-70 as we're under a minute to go. Now a turnover and an offensive foul called against Lopez.
Anytime you get an offensive foul call, you're definitely giving yourself up for the team. But, you know, one area, Ben, that when you look at a team that presses a lot, they're hiding their deficiencies. And one of the deficiencies of a team that presses a lot is half-court defense. And you've seen that tonight. The Bulldogs are extremely aggressive. They like to get out and try to turn you over. But one area that they lack at is on the half-court side. And you can see that as Skyline start getting their momentum, start figuring things out, their lack of playing man-to-man defense across the midcourt line, that's what hurt them in the second half.
Timeout taken here by Skyline. A full timeout, 87-70. The Trojans 31.8 seconds away from their 11th win of the season. Skyline on their way to win number 11 this season and their second win over San Mateo. 87-70 the score. It was 39-36 in favor of San Mateo at halftime, but the Trojans have taken over in half number 2. They've scored 51 points here in the second half.
Interesting matchup. Next game out for Skyline will be City College of San Francisco.
And that is no easy task because San Francisco has been absolutely dominant this year. They're 21-0. So that, we'll see if Skyline can pull off the upset or at least try and keep it close.
They're pretty good.
They're pretty good. When you're 21-0, I don't know much, but I know you're pretty good.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Last time they played, 119-72.
Yikes.
They was on the other side of that 119.
Yeah. But a good win here tonight for Skyline.
For both programs. The women program won earlier.
That's right. Final seconds ticking off here. And a whistle as the ball went out of bounds with 1.7 seconds to go. So Skyline will improve to 11-10 on the season and even their conference record at 4-4. San Mateo drops to 9-12 and also 4-4 in conference play. And an impressive victory tonight for Skyline, 87-70.
2 times they played one another. Skyline is 2-0. And their coaching obviously has been a major ingredient in that. Their players are very skilled in terms of passing the basketball. They don't make mistakes. I like where the Bulldogs are going for a first-year program. They're only going to improve once they get a few more pieces to the puzzle. But Skyline played well. They deserve the victory.
There you see Hainsworth celebrating a big night and a big victory. And we want to remind you that we've got rugby tomorrow, UC Davis and Santa Clara. That's tomorrow at 4 o'clock right here on the Bay Area Online Sports Network. That'll be our next broadcast. But for now, we want to thank you for joining us. On behalf of Joaquin Wallace and our entire Bay Area Online Sports Network crew, this is Ben Ross saying so long from San Bruno, where our final score once again was Skyline 87, San Mateo 70. Good night, everybody.